Okay, let's try this again. Okay, just give it a couple minutes. Let me just tweet this out real quick. All right, give it a few minutes. I was trying to get things set up a bit. I wanted to make sure, since this is on my PC, I want to make sure I could see the comments as I was playing along without having to switch back and forth. So let me know if y'all can hear me, if it sounds all right, this, that, and the other. So I'm actually watching the stream on my phone so I can see the comments while I'm playing on the laptop. So that's what we got going on here. Got some nice forest sound effects, ambience going on right now. There's a poor little bit palm over there too. We'll see what's up in a couple minutes. I saw Arcana 9 in the previous chat. Did you guys make it back? Well, while we're waiting, I'll go ahead and just play through a little bit of this. I'll play through a little bit of this each time So the current build that I have here, I think it's about 3 days old at this point. Just been testing it and that kind of thing. But we've added some of the very, very beginning scenes, screens, which is what you see here. This is basically the first screen that the player would see after the initial um, intro cutscene, and it basically sets up uh, where the story starts. So Leo, the main character, basically stumbles upon this opening in the forest and hears this electricity popping sound. And this is kind of what we're going through right now. You go over here. So this is a wild bit palm. Now, those of you that aren't familiar with Cryptonom, basically a little synopsis of the story is basically the world has been um, depopulated by the overseers. The overseers are the main governing body within Cryptonom. Um, the overseers, basically, if you want to think of it, it's basically like the government, if you will, own 90% of the wild or the real Nom population, while the other 10% uh, are basically roaming free in the wild. Now, they have taken the 90% and which they hold, and they've replaced them with their simulated counterparts. So when you're in Cryptonom and you're searching and you're, battling noms and whatnot, you'll see simulated noms and you'll see wild noms. Simulated are centralized. They will only be within your account. It requires another step to make them wild noms. If you find a wild nom while you're out and you're searching and you're battling and such, upon a successful capture, that would be sent to your digital wallet, and it would have engine coin. It would be backed by engine coin. So you find a wild nom, you capture it, it gets sent to your digital wallet. Boom, and you can do whatever you want with that one. Then that's one of the ways we plan to monetize that kind of thing. Um, so this first one is a wild. It's a wild. It's a wild bit palm. It's not a simulated. Um, so this one is basically like your starter nom. This one, after we go through this trigger right here, bit palm joins your party. So now he's in here. So upon that joining of the party, then that would trigger a transaction, and that would send this bit palm to your wallet. This very first bit palm would be locked to your wallet though, because of obvious reasons. Players creating new accounts, start new account, get wild bit palm, rinse, repeat, etc., etc. That's the only one that would be locked to your account. Again, for those reasons. So let's go. Let's continue to go up here. Now, we'll warn you in advance when this battle comes up. The battle music does get a little bit louder just because it's been so nice and serene and so, calm up until now with the sound effects and whatnot. It's got like this weird, like, darkness looking thing over here. Bump, bump, bump. So, this shady figure is another enemy that you would see in Cryptonom. However, it's not something you can capture. It's simply an enemy. So just like in your typical fantasy RPGs and such, where you'd have a mixture of different enemies in Cryptonom, uh, this is kind of the enemy that you would see where you would just battle. Upon a successful victory, you would receive XP, credits, a random loot drop, that kind of thing. But these are your random enemy encounters that'll be mixed in along with battling and searching for simulated and wild knobs. Yeah, so there you go. There's your battle music. All right, so let's go. As you can see, so you can't flee this because it's a scripted. Um, this is actually a little out on my end too. Um, you can't flee this because it's scripted. You're never going to lose this battle just because it's that tutorial sort of portion of the game, and obviously you can't capture it. So let's just go ahead and so Shadow Punch. It's the only move we have in right now for the darkness, but there are hold on one second. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Wow. Sorry, guys. Jeez. I was literally looking at the comments the entire time. My fault, my fault. I see you guys now. Alright, so does the sound better now? I can bring it up louder. Hold up. It's modeled after Archon's soul, or so I've been told. All right, how about now? Is it all right now? Alright. Sorry, guys. Just a noob streaming, that's all. Alright, so let's go through this. This is probably the first time, pretty sure this is the first time we've shown this battle background. It'll only be used for the first couple forest scenes and the hub scenes. Alright, so boom. Darkness done. And then we're back here. So this first portion, yeah, he basically is on Team FUD. And then we're back at the hub. So right now we only have the hall portion of the hub here. There will be 4 different portions. One up higher, which is where the tower will be for the explorer path. The one below will be the vault for the guardian path, and the one to the left will be the sanctuary or garden for the architect path. In each path, or I'm sorry, in each hub scene, you'd have actions that would coincide with that specific path. And when I say path, those are Cryptonom's 4 classes, basically, if you want to simplify it. So another thing that is really close to being implemented is the there would be a zone prep screen which would go right after you decide which zone you're going to go into. So I'd click on zone travel, and then it would have a list of zones that you could travel to. Once I would pick that zone, then my zone prep screen would come up. On that screen, you would basically have you would need to choose what you're going to take in with you. So you would choose your party, which you can only take 3 noms into a zone, and then you would choose what items you can take in with you, as far as to fill your bag. Your bag only has so many slots, which is also upgradable. But you're not going to be able to take in, an unlimited amount of capsules, which are what we use to capture noms. You're not going to be able to take in, an unlimited amount of potions, or even, 20 potions for that matter. So there's a little bit of strategy when you go into selecting what you actually take into a zone, and that kind of thing. So this is the first zone that we have is the frozen tundra zone, which is basically your starter zone. Let's see what we got here. Alright, so simulated Lidicat. So this would be a centralized nom if we were to capture it. Maybe 9. Maybe. Maybe you'll have to, wait and see. Alright, let's see. So, there's gonna be a whole lot of tail slapping going on. So, apologies in advance. We have adjusted it so that now the capture percentage rate is in direct correlation with the HP percentage. So in typical monster capture flare, you get their HP low and you have a higher chance of capturing them. Just hopefully I don't kill them. We've made a couple adjustments to capsule, but we're gonna have to make a few more adjustments. We made the actual capsule smaller. The beam, oh there we go. We made the beam smaller as well, but it's a little out of place right now, so that's something that I need to adjust. There we go. So we call it a Lidicat. So then Lidicat's right here. Add him to our party. Boom. So then the other kind of strategy thing too is, or at least in the beginning, the noms that you capture, they're gonna retain the health that you took them down to. So if you plan on using them in the same zone, you'll have to use a potion on them or figure out something else. But like right now, I'm just going to go back to the hub real quick. Alright, now they're all healed. Let's go back in. So, again, once we get closer to launching or early access, which we haven't mentioned yet, you wouldn't be able to necessarily do what I just did, have a little bit more info on that later on. So I just want to swap so that that's my lead. Liticat's my lead now. Let's go this way. Alright, so now there's a simulated Angelian. So again, right now, I just have tail slap up for Liticat. Oh boy, this Angelian's gonna... I'm not gonna be able to catch him. Time to get rocked. So again, right now, battling is pretty vanilla. This is without implementing our XP skills. It's also, we are going to make some adjustments to the battle system in regards to how certain moves interact with other moves. We do plan on implementing a system where you would have certain moves that would be a give and certain moves that would be a take. That way you have to build up with certain moves and then you have to use other moves to use what you've built up. So that'll add a little bit more depth. Obviously the XP skills are a main thing too, because that's basically your special move, your super move, if you will. I actually did catch him, okay. Let's look at this guy. Whoops. Okay. So then, if we go to progression, so not a cheater capsule. Well, I mean, I guess it is just because it actually is unlimited right now, but so progression board, this is the way you level up your noms in Cryptonom. This is a much smaller board than what you would see when you capture a nom. Right now, again, just placeholders. This is a big priority for us right now, though, and it's currently what we're working on to try to get into the game so that we can, test out all of that as far as, adjusting defense and agility and HP and unlocking new moves and that kind of thing. But this board would probably be, I don't know, 5 times this size. And basically, so the way that it works is you gain XP through battling, and each tile costs a certain amount of XP to unlock. Once you unlock it, and you spend your XP, then the next one unlocks as well. Now, again, this wouldn't be here. The XP skill is going to be way further on in the progression board. But it's just there as an example. If I had 130 XP right now, this one would also light up. So there you go. So there's no further for me to go. I would confirm upgrade, yes, and then again, it's not going to reflect because there's no backend to pull it from right now, as that we're overhauling that and all that kind of stuff. But it would reflect your new stats here, and then your XP would go down, and you would carry on. So, again, an example of what your bag looks like. So when you first start off and you go into that zone prep screen that I had mentioned before, when not that reset, no, that's just so let me go back. No, this reset is just simply if I choose this and I confirm. If I hit reset, it's just gonna take it back. Basically, if you want to kind of like plot out, and then you're like, I don't really like where I'm at, because it's gonna give you an updated, it's gonna give you your new stats as you were to basically as you were unlocking these. So if you got to a point in the chain, if you had a ton of XP that you were spending to get there, if you didn't like where you were headed or you didn't like what the outcome was, you would just hit reset and it would just bring you back here. Stat reroll would be something completely different. Not really ready to talk about that too much, but we do. I mean, there are plans to have an item where you could change the spec of a nom or edit the spec of a nom, if that makes sense. When I talk about specs, there's different specs within the game that will give you more attributes that are related to that spec. So if it's an agility spec that you capture, there's going to be more agility tiles within the skill tree or within the progression board. Just like if you find one that's defense related or attack related, or if it's a valid, then it'll have a well-rounded progression board to give you well-rounded stats. In other words, a smaller boost to all stats versus a higher boost in one stat. What was that? Yeah, so when you first start, you would have 9 slots in your pack, and capsules and potions, etc., don't stack here. So you would have, you'd have to figure out what you want to take with you. Now, that's not to say that, with different gear, that gear wouldn't allow you to have, add-ons. Like, for example, if you have a champion's armlet, that would allow you to carry, maybe 2 or 3 extra crystals, 2 or 3 extra capsules. Or, if you upgrade your champion's armlet, maybe you could carry up to 5, that kind of thing. So obviously there needs to be a balance there. We can't just allow everything to have some sort of capsule slot or potion slot or whatever, but these slots will also be able to be upgraded and unlocked. So you'll get a little bit more there too. And let's see. Yeah, so for those that have played the demo, I mean, this is all pretty familiar. The Electric Forest tile set will be the next that we implement, which is done, and it looks pretty awesome as well. So as you can see, I unlocked the Ice Needle move for Angelion, and there you go. And he slapped me with his tail. So yeah, I mean, the main things that we really wanted to do, just in general, was not really be like, other monster capture games, which I know that sounds stereotypical and cliche, but we really want, a deep story, one that has, really good side quests and not just your typical like fetch quests, and that like it really like matters. And we want the main quest to, be deep, but we also want it to have some twists and that kind of thing to it, so you can expect that as well. But like the lore, I mean, Archon and Daniel have really killed it with the lore so far. And I mean, as far as like ancestral noms, you know, each zone will have its own ancestral nom that you will, you know, be able to summon in battle. You know, if you were to take, really what we want to do is we want to take like the best parts of like a fantasy role-playing game and then combine that with a monster capture game, and that's kind of what we're trying to do. So obviously right now, you know, we don't have summoning in, but you will be able to summon, at the very least you'll be able to summon ancestral noms, which would require collecting certain shards and such. Let's get this guy here. Forgot to swap him out. Sir, those are boots. So you can capture noms, you can battle noms. You will battle the darkness, which is, again, that's tied to the main storyline. You will be able to summon ancestral noms. You'll be able to summon. That's where we'll get a lot of our multiverse type of collaborations and such. That's where we'll pull from for that. And yeah, you guys kill it with side quests, and main quests and lore in general. So I mean, you guys already know that. I tell you guys that all the time. What was I saying? Yeah, so you know, multiverse items like, I can't even think of any right now on hand. Let me go back to the hub. Like, dang, why am I drawing a blank? Like Shadow Song, or there's a couple others that were, or like Stormwall. Those are a couple that we've been thinking about, you know. Yeah, I mean, anything is really on the books when it comes to summoning and such. But the main thing is, you know, again, making sure there's balance. So like summons, you also have to have some strategy there, because whatever summon you decide to choose, you only get one summon per zone entry. So you go into a zone, and let's say there's like a big battle that you know, like let's say you like died there or whatever, and it sent you back to the hub, and you wanted to re-enter the zone to go and try it again. So, you know, you can't just spam summons. Like, you got to think strategically. But yeah, I'm all about nubs. Maybe 9 streams and his captain gear, superhero gear comes on screen, and you know, does something really stupid, because that's what 9 would do, right? Just kidding, 9. But yeah, like, you know, you have that in your wallet, it shows up in game, you use it, boom, he comes into battle, does something for you, and then leaves, and then your nom comes back, and then you start battling again. That's true, you're right, that's true. Or even, you know, I don't remember how it came up, but the Pepe coin, I think one of the things I wanted to do was have like Pepe and like a knight skin come on screen. Stupid. 9. Listen, everything's fine. Everything's fine. the Shadow Song quest. Yes. Listen, we have unfinished business with that, alright? Chill. Everything is fine. No, no, not 9. A knight skin. Like a knight. Pepe in a suit of armor. That was my initial thought for implementing a coin like that, or a token like that. There's a bunch of others that are in the works, but really, I mean, if you think about other games that are in the engine sphere, or even not in the engine sphere, you know, I know Ethermon, I would love to have a collab with them, which, you know, would really just be a matter of, you know, if they didn't want us using their property, then, you know, we summon one of theirs, he comes in, boom, does a collab, you know, does some sort of move that they would normally do in Ethermon, and then they leave, you know, that kind of thing. And then, you know, one of our noms are in their game, you know, that kind of thing. It opens up, it's a lot more than just like, you know, having actual, or it's a little bit different than actually having a nom. Because that can be a little bit more, okay, so like what kind of stats does it have? What kind of moves does it have? You know, this, that, and the other. Whereas, you know, when you have a summon, it's kind of like, okay, it comes in, it does one, you know, really badass move and then leaves. And it could be anything. It could be healing, you know, your entire squad. It could be, you know, 20% defense boost for 5 turns. It could be, you know, whatever the case may be. But I think being a fan of, you know, Final Fantasy and that kind of thing, or those types of games rather, and having summons are like one of the things that you really look forward to doing in those games, and like look forward to finding, you know, the new summons. I remember being like super into Final Fantasy X, and there were a couple like really obscure summons that you had to do, you know, certain things for, and then it would open up, you know, a path here or there, and then you basically prove your loyalty, if you will, and you would gain that summon. So, you know, stuff like that. What else? Same kind of squad, same peeps in here, so I know you guys don't have very many questions, because y'all talk to me almost on the daily. But yeah, and I mean, I think the other thing too is with the way battling it is right now, I mean, you're really just using whatever move is the most powerful, and you're just kind of spamming it, so the final battle system will not be like that, because it's just gonna, it would just be boring. Well, I'm pretty sure I'd get sued by Marble if I summon Thanos. Maybe I'll summon Sanat. Yeah, there we go. Just reversed Thanos. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to getting the back end done completely. We've decoupled. Tim just updated me on this a couple days back. We decoupled the engine login, so now we have a legit login where you don't need to enter your wallet code to log in. So we just need to finalize some things on that end to get it fully set up. And then once we put the demo back up, I know we're having some inconsistencies with wild noms sending that should be completely alleviated now. So upon capture of a wild nom, boom, it sends it to your wallet. As opposed to, is it gonna send? Is it not gonna send? Why isn't it sending? It's a bit frustrating on both sides. And then, oh, okay. So I don't think I've shown. I mean, I know you guys have seen this, but for those that haven't, when you're in mid-battle, you can also. It's got an easy little mini screen that pulls up your stats, so you can see like, okay, so who do I want to bring in? A little bit more strategy for you, so you don't have to guess at like what stats have this or what noms have what stats, etc. Yeah. The one thing, I'm gonna actually start this over. I'm gonna go back to the actually I can't because you guys can't see that. Alright, so scratch that. Let's go back. Yeah, and actually, I guess it would be worth saying too that, so this, like I said, this is the hall, which is in the centralized hub. This is where you'll come back. The hall, upon entering those doors right there, that would give you a shop, and that would have various things that you could buy with credits, which are these guys right here. That's the digital currency within Cryptonom. And then there's also Etherite. Etherite is the more rare physical currency that is more along the lines of, like a diamond that you'd see in other games. But where was I going with that? So yeah, you would, in most stores, or I'm sorry, in this shop, and primarily in the shop, we might even have a we're thinking about having like a vending machine in random spots that would make sense, where you could also access a variety of goods. But for the most part, credits would only be used. Etherite would mainly be used in places where, or I'm sorry, when you're trading with other NPCs that aren't necessarily like a shop owner. There's a couple different uses for Etherite as well. And what others here? For anyone that may be watching at a later time, any future announcements coming up you need to mention? Not at the moment. I mean, so currently what we're working on, like I've said numerous times, is the back end. So that involves getting our proper login situation set up, which is, the structure is there. We just need to actually like literally set it up. And the progression board, we need to add, we need to connect certain endpoints and such so that it actually factors everything in. Those are the two main things that we're working on right now. Then, well, obviously besides, attack effect animations and more tile sets, and music is also a thing that we'll need to look at too very soon as well, because this main theme should really only be playing in very few portions. Like each zone is going to have its own theme. The battle theme, which I've grown pretty accustomed to. Is what you'll hear for the most part all throughout the game. The only other theme that you'd hear while battling would be like a boss theme. For anyone that may be watching at a later time, ignore like 90% of what I've said. I'm just trying to buy Nom stuff. Yeah, I mean, right now the name of the game is getting the backend completely done. Oh, I have failed to mention the non-battle bot this entire time. Sorry, James. Hopper James from Grasshopper Farms has done an insane job with the non-battle bot thus far. He is working on over 2,000 plus images to set up in the Telegram bot to get it squared away. So for those of you that don't know what the BattleBot is, it's almost like a simulation. I almost want to call it like Professor Hooper's simulation, but it's basically it's a BattleBot within Telegram that will recognize any blockchain noms that you have, and you can use them in battle within the bot. You can adventure in different zones. You can earn blockchain loot. You can... Wow, I'm really bad at explaining what my game does. You can cache noms, and for those of you that don't know what caching is, caching is when you send a nom out to search for credits, materials to craft in the game, items. You can cache within the Telegram bot for centralized materials and items. The bot is going to be pretty amazing. There's a little bit more balancing that needs to happen, and there's some more features we need to implement before it launches. But it is going to be pretty great. And you have the chance to capture simulated noms in the bot, and then in the game, the actual game, and in the bot, you will be able to get something called an authenticator. What the authenticator does is it takes a simulated Liticat or a simulated Angelian or a simulated nom in general, and it then authenticates it and makes it a real or wild nom. So in the bot, if you capture a simulated Angelian or a simulated nom, you would then get an authenticator, and then upon authenticating the simulated nom, you would receive the blockchain nom, which the ones that you would receive in the game and in the bot would be the unlimited supply noms, but a nom nonetheless. Then later on, once we get our blockchain integration functions onto mainnet after significant testing and balancing and such, those noms that you would have caught or that you would have authenticated within the Telegram bot, since they are a tokenized, backed by engine nom, would then be able to be playable in Cryptonom, the actual game. Hopefully that isn't confusing, hopefully that makes sense, but basically you can use the Telegram bot to get noms to then use within the game. So it's almost like a companion app at that point, which is pretty cool. I'm a real boy. Yep, you got it. All right. So And then just to touch on some of like the basic functions of like within your hub too. So I mentioned that there's a sanctuary. So in the sanctuary, you'll be able to plant stuff, I should say, because it's a variety of things. So you would have seeds, and you would take these seeds, you would plant them in a plot, and you would come back and you would water them just like you would a regular plant. And once the plant or thing has matured, you can then harvest it, and whatever that is, if it's an ingredient for a potion, or it might even be a baby nom, maybe it's a baby plant nom. There is also a workbench within the sanctuary. The workbench is where you would go to craft using the raw materials that you would find from caching, or that you would use the raw materials that you would find from a drop in a battle. You would use those materials to then craft and such. So, oh, what's up, sir? How's it going? You're a little late to the party. It's okay. I didn't think I'd be on this long, to be honest. So lost my train of thought. So yeah, so in the sanctuary, that's where you would go, and you would do your crafting and such. I can't really talk too much about the vault because it's a little super secret right now, but there's a super fun thing that'll happen in the vault that will involve noms that are yeah, I don't even want to finish that statement. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense besides my just abrupt end there. Not touching on the vault, sir. Not touching on the vault. What else? Do you guys have any questions? What you got going on? Thank you, sir. Trying to think of things that I haven't gone over. Yes, sir, of course. So I guess that about wraps it up, guys. Obviously, if you are new to Cryptonom, we have a Telegram channel that I am in daily. I can answer any questions, any comments, etc. It's at Cryptonom Official within Telegram. You can also follow us on Twitter. You can always direct message me on Twitter. It's at CatchNoms. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you to those who came in and chatted up a little bit. I'm gonna save the video. It's either gonna be a really smart move or a really stupid move, because you're gonna be like, this guy is all over the place. It is what it is. But yeah. Yeah, thanks, guys. And sorry about those technical difficulties at first. That's how you know I don't stream much, when I'm looking at the comments. Not the live chat, but I'm looking at the comments and I'm like, why isn't anybody saying anything? Um, but yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and like I said, any questions, let me know.